The Cowboys did something. Apologies for the delay on the video. I was held up in interview processes here for us at Chat Sports, but we'll do a video on it. The Cowboys have re-signed offensive tackle / guard Chuma Edoga to a 1-year contract. Expectation is this will fall under the old veteran's salary benefit, a.k.a. it doesn't impact the cap more than the vet minimum. It'll pretty much be guaranteed. And Edoga back primed to be one of the backups along the offensive line. News was broken by Jeremy Fowler and then confirmed by others of kind of weird phrase. The Cowboys plan to re-sign Edoga per source, likely to a 1-year deal. That has now been confirmed by Gelkin and Archer, everybody else, that it's going to be a 1-year deal. Significant guaranteed money, so pretty much locks Edoga into the roster as 6th, 7th, 8th, whatever, offensive lineman there for Dallas. 6 starts last year was, it was a swing tackle caliber player. Let's put it from that perspective. Does give the Cowboys another option on the left side of the offensive line. I think the team was far more comfortable with him at left tackle than they were with him at left guard. Maybe that's not necessarily for the betterment of the organization, whatever, but it gives them more depth. So for now, and we'll come back to this more in depth in a moment, we're going to put Edoga in there at left tackle. We'll break down what this means for the draft, for free agency, which is ongoing, whatever. When the Cowboys make moves, we have you covered, even if I'm held up at a very important interview for a job hire, but it's okay. Hit that sub button at youtube.com/@Cowboys TV for more free Dallas Cowboys YouTube videos. Edoga played a nice 420 snaps in 2023 and was frankly up and down over the course of the regular season. 3 sacks allowed, 5 hits, 8 hurries. The PFF run grade was okay. There were a couple different games where he just looked lost to begin a game and then settled down a little bit. This is a player who I don't want actually playing. But once you looked at the available, cheaper veteran swing tackle, backup offensive line options, you kind of went, don't love that. Don't love those options out there. So in a bubble, re-signing Chuma Edoga, I don't have that many complaints about it. I have some complaints overall, though, which we'll get into here as part of today's show. But specifically for Edoga, give me your one-word reaction to this signing. It'll be the pinned comment on today's video, so if the ad comes on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. My one-word reaction was actually just a letter. Okay, that's what I sent out. It's fine. It's fine to bring back Chuma Edoga and have someone to give you viable depth on the offensive line. It's hard to find those pieces. That's great. That makes sense. It doesn't actually change the way I feel about this team's offensive line. And it doesn't change the way I feel about this team's free agency. For the moves to have been veteran Eric Kendricks, re-signed Dowdle, Edoga, CJ Goodwin, Jordan Lewis, Trent Sieg, okay, it's fine. You're not getting better. You're treading water in the end. I do want to look at the here and now for this offensive line. If they weren't going to add anybody in the markets, in the draft, which I will be blown away if they don't, your offensive line would probably look like this. Tyler Smith, TJ Bass, Brock Hoffman, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele are your starters. I think Bass is over Edoga as a starting option at left guard. You could flip it and put Edoga in there at left tackle, Tyler Smith at left guard. I'd rather be playing TJ Bass. I think most of us agree with that there. Then Edoga, Awesome Richards, and Matt Waletzko would be your in some order, 6th, 7th, and 8th offensive linemen. You don't have very many viable backup guards unless you're going to put Tyler Smith there and make Bass your top backup on the interior. I think Richards probably better at tackle, but I am so thin on the interior, I would kind of put Richards at guard, even though I don't think he's more of a left tackle in the end. So I do think this helps kind of show some light to where this team is probably going to try to address it in the draft, which we'll come back to here on today's video. But this gives them, ideally, Edoga's your 7th or 8th offensive lineman. I'd feel better about that, ideally 8th, than if he's your 6th or, God forbid, he has to be your 5th. That's not going to be a very good offensive line if he's starting for you. We saw it last year. You know what you're getting yourself into. It's fine depth. It doesn't move the needle for me at all. Now, today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time is the place for last-minute tickets to your next big event, sporting, concert, music, comedy, theater, etc. Game Time has you covered. Pretty cheap baseball tickets. The Rangers are going to be good again this year, and they're not that expensive, especially if you go to the correct game, by the way. You can get tickets for almost for nothing, basically, if you use promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Also, keep an eye out for zone deals. Zone deals are awesome. You pick the section, Game Time picks the seats for significant savings. You can get them up to 20% or higher, by the way, folks. Rangers game, great way to spend an afternoon or an evening on the weekend, especially if the weather's nice. Or you can go to a concert. The Justin Timberlake tickets will be maybe a little bit more expensive. But $20 off your first purchase when you use promo code CHATSPORTS over at GameTime.co. That's CHATSPORTS, ChatSports, for $20 off. The link and the promo code will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. That's GameTime.co, promo code CHATSPORTS. Nice to have news to talk about, frankly, because we haven't had much of that for the Dallas Cowboys. This cannot, should not, and will not impact this team's draft process. When we mentioned the offensive line, you still need a starter on the left side. That cannot be Edoga if this team is serious about having success. You have to do something there in the draft. That could be a guard draft pick, and you put Tyler Smith at left tackle long term. It could be a tackle draft pick, and you put Tyler Smith at left guard, and now you're feeling better about your offensive line room because Edoga can be a backup tackle for you. Austin Richards, Matt Letzko can fight for a job. TJ Bass becomes your top backup on the interior of the offensive line. Maybe add another one, and you make Hoffman a backup in there too. All of a sudden, that starts to feel a little bit better for the Cowboys as it relates to the offensive line. But Edoga can only be the depth piece. If they want to start him and have him like, oh, we love him, okay. No, you don't. Don't lie to us. If this is a depth move, and you're paying him as such. So grade the re-signing of Chuma Edoga. A, B, C, D, or F. Go ahead and sound off for me in the comment section of today's video. I myself give it's probably a B re-signing. I don't have that much to complain about. But it doesn't change it doesn't move the needle, change the way I feel about this team's free agency class overall. This probably takes them out of the running for any of the available veteran swing tackles, a Cameron Fleming, Andres Peets, Andre Dillard, Kendall Lamb re-signed recently, Mekhi Becton. You're probably not going to go get one of those guys unless the draft is a disaster for you at the left tackle / left guard spot. I think the more likely outcome here is, okay, you're going to draft somebody in the first round or at least round 2 and then move on from there. So overall, what is your confidence level in the Cowboys front office? Scale it for me from 1 to 10 in the comment section of today's show. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. It's a low number for me right now. They, by the way, and I'll make note of this again. We've said it before. We'll do more. They have to crush this draft. They have to get, I think, you have to get 3 starters, right? You didn't add any, you added 1 new starter after losing multiple. I continue to see people going, free agency's not over. Free agency's not over. For this team, it might as well be. It never started. They didn't do anything. You might be able to add 1 or 2 guys, after the draft to help you out. Cool. Great. That's all fine and dandy. They have to nail this draft. Because the individual losses, right, of losing Biotish, losing Armstrong, losing Fowler, losing Tyron, losing Part, I was fine with, maybe not so much Tyron, fine with almost all of those because they got paid more than I would have paid them. So be it. Those individual moves are fine, but when the replacements are nothing, how do you get better? I'm trying to get better, and I don't feel that the Cowboys are operating at a similar path. So I am fine re-signing Chuma Edoga. That move, no issues. But it can't be like the 3rd biggest move and expect the Cowboys fan base to be excited. We'll have more Cowboys thoughts on social media, by the way, on my Twitter at @WhatGoingDowney and on Instagram, the Cowboys Report IG. Go follow us and me, really, over there.